I am at a fucking loss. I mean, how to summarize the events of the past week, never mind make them entertaining. Comedy relies on the absurd, and when you can literally watch avowed communists incite open bloodletting culminating in arson, assault, and motherfucking murder, the merely absurd would frankly be a butt-fucking improvement. We literally sit a week and change removed from peaceful anti-lockdown protests that the leftist media called medically irresponsible, and we're now watching the self-same corporate media mongoloids profess solidarity with streets filled with fidel-falating fucknobs, often without surgical masks or goddamn gloves. Over the past 4 years, we've watched narrative outrank reality so many times I need an 8-foot abacus to keep track of it all. But now, NPR are reporting actual medical professionals have banded together who browbeat anti-lockdown protesters for much smaller demonstrations, might I add. Now writing, "We support the current protest because," and I quote, "white supremacy is a lethal public health issue that predates and contributes to COVID-19. Hey, you know what else contributes to COVID-19? People being ass to elbow at a protest turn loot 'em up, breathing heavier than Movie Bob with a platinum Popeyes gift card. Minnesota may have relaxed their lockdown procedures some weeks back, and really, they kind of had to, seeing as their economy and job market was already lagging behind most of the nation long before any of this bullshit. But the fact remains, we're still technically supposed to be cowering indoors from the coof. I'm asked often if I think we could be hurtling toward a boogaloo. I receive such inquiries since even before I began regularly commentating on politics on my main channel, in fact, and my response is invariable. Not until the concrete reality matches the political depiction. In short, until legitimate supply shortages, meaning not the kind that are fixed after a week or two of empty shelves at Target, and physical threats to your person or property, don't hold your breath, which is why I hope you understand the alarming import of Minneapolis blowtorching Target stores, necessitating the indefinite closure of 25 or so grocery stores in just the St. Paul area itself, not to mention myriad others, and that's by design for many of these groups. Look, none of this is new. I touched on some of it in my Hollywood Was Always Red rant, but the idea of destabilizing rioting has been one of the foremost bolts in the quiver of these commie cunthoods since time immemorial. Herb Sorrell's CSU, or Council of Studio Unions, famously ignited the Black Friday riots of October 1945, which Dalton Trumbo participated in, by the way, and spilled into massive violence after Hollywood bosses imposed a restraining order against the commies. When said restraining order, along with the Riot Act, was read over the intercom system, Sorrell famously shouted, "To hell with the law, we want justice." Sound familiar? Of course, he had the leverage to do so at the time, the police having been outnumbered by that point 1,500 to 122. More than 15 ambulances were needed to haul away the victims of the violence. The CSU printed propaganda calling the studio bosses and all who supported them fascists. Again, sound familiar? And further obfuscating their socialist ambitions by creating front groups named things like Citizens for the First Amendment and the Hollywood Anti-Nazi League. Point being, commies calling themselves anti-fascist or anti-police brutality is like a tactic from the Triassic period, and until you call it out, it ain't gonna stop, especially if you splay your ass cracks and cave to their demands. Are there peaceful protesters? Sure, but my brain no longer fucking perceives them as they're awash in open assaults and outright murder of police, arson of local businesses, and even looting of homes.
I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not generally speaking unruly, but fires have been started and
Please disperse. Nothing to see here, please.
Piss, whine, cry, put more black squares than the cast of fucking Family Matters on your Twitter timeline if you like. I give nary a fucking fuck. Stop looting and burning. Bitch, it ain't negotiable. No one wants to have a conversation. No one could, even if they wanted. It's like when your poop butt fucking 2-year-old wants an ice cream, shits their diaper, spreads it on the walls, and shrieks like a fucking ring wraith till they get it. If you hand over the soft serve, you better invest in Huggies and goddamn Pine Sol, because you'll be smelling the sweet scent of toddler turds for some time. We can have a conversation about crooked cops when this is over. Fuck, the sad part is, we already were. Everyone, left, right, and center, appeared united in their revulsion at the conduct of Officer Chauvin. And then you went full commie insurrection on our asses. It's almost to the point where we can't cave or we'll never stop the fucking Ferguson sequels. This is not how you start a conversation, you cunts, so I'll keep this very simple. keep all further protests peaceful, and disavow dipshit communists like Antifa, or meet hostility at best. You wanted to talk terms, Wankshaft? There they fucking are. I don't care, and frankly no longer fucking acknowledge their presence as they're cohabitating with a bunch of assholes and arsonists. I am in full fuck deficit. Don't like it? Tidy up your own fucking ship, Sherlock. Worst of all, there's no real incentive to stop Spurgeon either, as within hours of open revolt, the Hollywood Apologencia and old bumbling ass Biden were already footing the bill for their bail. Granted, Biden probably didn't recognize these as riots, what without all the zoot suits, but Steve fucking Carell, do you make-believe playing motherfuckers need so mortally to feel relevant after 2 months of lockdown, you'll spring cop killers from the clink just to grab a headline? Sam Jackson making about how rough cops are being in response to looting and the murder of police and civilians, calling Trump a dictator for delegating his responsibilities to the states? Hey, Mace Dindu, you want to cool your jets with the Republic Senate floor speech? Trump can barely get the states to call in their own National Guards, let alone call in the Imperial fucking stormtroopers. If we need you to say fuck in another shitty Tarantino film, I'll give you a ring. But otherwise, hang out in Hollywood, watch your fellow travelers burn the butt-fucking city down, and prepare to play pretend for a living when all this is over. And to the ivory tower twats posting black screens in solidarity with a movement that has devoted the last 5 days to making our inner cities utterly unlivable, from CD Projekt's Polak asses to Sony and their delay of the PS5 event that I'm sure had everything to do with world events and nothing to do with the omnipresent rumors that the PS5 is underpowered and has fewer games than a Nokia fucking flip phone. Come holiday season, just remember, we'll be voting with our wallets around the same time we vote with our ballots. To most of America, this has the optics of a Rosie O'Donnell swimsuit calendar, which, might I add, supports my earlier contention amidst a wall of black-pilled bedwetters wailing that Trump looked weak, that waiting at least a day or two to truly threaten to drop the hammer was the only proper play here. If Trump had laideth the smacketh down on day one, the world media was locked, cocked, and cucked to unload the full Adolf McStalin salvo of dictatorial spin on their 24-hour news networks. In fact, this argument is borne out by their immediate reactions to the speech he finally did give. Don Lemon, for example, spent 24 breathless hours beseeching Trump to say something, anything, and once he did, he called Trump a tin pot dictator.
Nobody wants to hear from the White House or the Attorney General right now.
I want to hear what you have to say about this. I really do. I want to hear what the president has to say. I really do.
Only problem being, by then we'd watched our cities burn for 2 titty fucking nights, and only the leftiest of lefties was actually buying it. And yes, bitch, that's a fuck you. I was right. While the full effect is unlikely to register electorally for some time, my gut says none of this will have much of a positive or negative effect on the election. At least not the national one. Locally, I anticipate a slaughter, a storming of the Bastille, bitch. And if history's any guide, that's exactly what we'll get. In the immediate aftermath of the LA riots of '92, LA and New York City ushered in their very first Republican mayors in decades, and those cities were every bit as partisan and pinko then as they are today. Hell, it's already upon us, really, with police and detectives unions in New York already calling for Bill de Blase's job, even as his own daughter was arrested amongst the looting and property damage. Yikes! To say nothing of the nationwide ration of red pills this is serving for anti-Second Amendment aspies who asserted all of a week ago that no one needs a weapon for self-defense, folks! I have been to my local gun store since these riots began. Allow me to assure you, they are picked cleaner than a Nike outlet in downtown Minneapolis, with fewer bullet casings, might I add. Look, many cherished illusions were shattered on night one of this half-assed insurgency. The need for firearms foremost among them. Police usually react to crime. They almost never prevent it. Not necessarily because they're dicks, but because logistically speaking, they're at least a few minutes away from the action. And that's on a good night. Most crime takes seconds, and while many fellow travelers may never admit they did so, the sheer quantity of overnight gun sales proves an awful lot of the anti-gun goat fuckers dipped into the hobby over the weekend and kept it quietly to themselves. Just because you don't own a gun doesn't mean you can't be victimized with or without one. Grab your Trump bucks and pick one up, why don't ya? And if even a fraction of those newly minted firearm owners are reevaluating their position on pea shooters, politically speaking, that is a shit chinook for Joe Biden. Easily one of the most anti-firearm nominees the DNC has ever fielded, and one of the principal authors of the 90s assault weapons ban. Locally speaking, I have a feeling we're about to witness a bloodbath, but across the country, we're stuck with the same sad saps as before. Trump with his text alerts and Biden with his life alerts. I'm Razor Fist. Don't
Let's just start looting shit, okay? Let's just grab shit.
Yes!
Let's grab whatever we can.
No, you can't loot until the crowd whips up into a frenzy.
The crowd is whipped up into a frenzy. They just stole my car.
I think the time will be evident.
Well, what are we waiting for?